How difficult is it to have privacy?
Very difficult. It's extremely difficult, and I'm doing everything I can to try and keep that privacy.
Well, like, what are some of the things you have to do now?
I mean, it's a gate on the house to having your address under a different name, to having to go in back doors of restaurants, to having to put your to fly privately, to have everything you do, you have to try and be conscious of it, because you don't want to. It's not that I don't want to see fans. I love fans. Like, it's my favorite thing. But there's just things when you have to get something done, you literally can't take the time because you have to get somewhere. You have to be somewhere. You have to do something. So there's nothing better to me than when I get to interact with fans. But there are a few times where I just need that time where I'm supposed to accomplish something. So you have to find ways to do it.
How often would fans show up at your old house?
A couple times a week. They'd show up a couple times a week. Now people drive by my house a couple times a week and they take photos outside the gate and they stop and they look in. And so even when you're private, it's not private,
right.
But you just do the best you can.
Tell about what turned into an annual Halloween, the thing that you had, and then the last year when the neighbors had asked you to shut it down.
Well, I love giving out candy. In my first year in the NFL, I was so excited because you have a contract and you're making a lot of money, so you can hand out like lots of candy to the kids. And
you wouldn't just give like little pieces of candy. You'd give like.
You always remember the house when I was a kid. You always remember which house gives out the best candy. Like, right. The biggest candy bar is the king size. So, what I did, I went to the store and I bought. You know how they have like the sleeve of fun size, like
right.
8 in 1 pack.
Right.
So I bought the whole box of each type of candy, and I just gave out the whole sleeve. I was like, here, just take it all. And
maybe a bad move looking back.
Yeah, looking back, it was awful because all of a sudden, like the second half of the night, I saw the same kids in different costumes. I saw people driving in from out. So my first year was the best because I could keep it, kind of low key. And then the second year got crazy, and by the third year, my neighbors came to me and they were like, hey, I think we should, talk about Halloween. I was like, oh boy. And they didn't want me to do it. It's absurd. So I agreed. I was like, I won't hand out candy. And it sucked. I really wanted to, but I had my entire neighborhood was like, hey man, like you probably shouldn't do it. I was like, all right. So they literally, my neighborhood has 2 entrances, 1 entrance, 1 exit. They set up cars to block the entrance to my neighborhood and to block the exit. So nobody was allowed in, nobody was allowed out of my neighborhood. So I told them, all right, I'll leave from 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock. So I left, whatever, it's fine. I come back at 9 o'clock when I said I was gonna come back, and I pull into my neighborhood. I'm probably a mile away from my house at least. And I see all these cars lined up on the side of the road. And I'm like, what, like, is somebody having a party or something? And they just keep going. And I pull up, and literally, people parked their cars for over a mile outside of my neighborhood and walked in, and there was just loads of people outside my house taking pictures of my truck, taking pictures outside. I got to my front door, and there was probably a 4-foot high stack of things that people left, whether it was books or notes. Somebody left a note on the door, and on the back of it was their MapQuest directions from 5 hours away, from north of Dallas. They drove all the way down to get candy at my house. So it's pretty crazy. But that's why I have the best fans in the world. I'm very lucky.
The strangest fan interaction you've ever had would be what?
It was actually the charity softball game. One year, this woman had me sign her pregnant belly. She was pregnant, and she was like, sign my belly. And I was like, well, that's probably one of the weirdest things I've ever signed. So I signed her belly, and then the next year at the charity softball game, I took a picture with the kid.
So that was cool.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I like that one. I thought that was really neat. But there has been a lot of weird stuff. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.